All right, what's going on, guys? This is gonna be just a little trade review from the rapid signals. We've been doing these pretty much every week, showing you guys pretty much the highlighted trades. Trades that we took that kind of played out the best. And yeah, we're happy to share them with you. I mean, they're usually really good signals coming out of the channel, and to get the opportunity to go over them and show you guys exactly the steps we go into taking these trades and how we manage them. It's exciting. It's super valuable to the community, and everybody seems to like it. So it's a good idea to keep doing these. So here are two trades that I took, probably the highlights of this last week. We got Euro CHF and EJ. I'm going to start off with this Euro CHF trade because it happened a little bit earlier. Over on the 20th, we entered at 8:11 in the morning. So pretty early trade. We're catching that volume, but let's just go through the trade and then jump onto the chart and we'll get right into it. So this was a buy on Euro CHF at 1.0709. Stop loss was at 1.0649. So we were risking 60 pips, and we were looking to get 120 with a final TP around 1.0829. So 2-to-1 risk reward. Pretty good trade. We're going to risk about 1 to 2% on this, as is disclosed in every message we give you guys. The risk amount you should be pretty much risking per trade, because that's what it really comes down to. You need to have consistency as you're taking these signals. That's how they're going to amount to a profit in the long run. You can't be taking 10% on one trade, 0.5% on the other, and so on and so on. So consistency is key. Always keep it to 1 to 2%, depending on how you like to trade, but have some consistency in your trading. All right, so that's Euro CHF. Let's move over to the chart real quick. We'll cover that, and then we'll get back over here on EJ, which was one hell of a trade. Okay, so as we said over here on the 20th, but I'm going to walk you guys through my thought process real quick. Okay, so we were primarily bearish, right? We saw a ton of consolidation here. So this consolidation kind of established a pretty key, level of structure, key level of resistance. Price action was obviously, reacting in a way over here where there was a lot of indecision, and then it took off, gave us huge conviction, shot down, came back up, and then this zone proved to be very strong resistance again, right? So price action began to fall off that level, huge momentum. So we were overall bearish, right, up until this point. And then we saw a ton of consolidation here, right? Tons and tons of consolidation. So price action was, trying to figure out where it was going. It wasn't really breaking the zone. We were seeing a lot of bullish pressure step in, and we took an opportunity right off this rejection here, right? We had a three touches, and it was enough rejection off this 4 hour. And I'll drop to the 1 hour for the entry. I'll show you guys where exactly we took the trade. So it was right here as we saw this bullish volume push back up, started giving us a little bit of a higher low on a lower time frame, and then tweezer bottom. So we entered right on this candle as it was coming back down. We really thought this was going to be the conviction here. So this entry might have been slightly early. It turns out that this was the actual entry candle, the conviction candle that crossed the MAs, that really set this off and moving higher here, right? So that would have been the better entry in this. Turns out, it still played out well. That's what happens sometimes when you just have, a good trade setup, and we're just following TA very simply here. So we were a bit early. There's a better entry here, but it also did come back, right? And then found support here again, and then we started really taking off into this new bullish trend. Okay, so let's go back to the 4 hour for a second. Okay, so slightly early entry, but other TA still lined up pretty well, right? We saw that we took off, got a higher high, higher low, and then it just played right into our final TP, which lined up very well with our resistance level. It wasn't too greedy. We weren't targeting, way up here. We weren't banking on this resistance level breaking or anything. We were simply trying to come back and meet this level, which it did. And it gave us a nice 2-to-1. Again, we were 60 pips to get 120. But yeah, so this level held very, very good. We had a lot of confidence here because we saw that there were just a lot of failed attempts at lower high formations below the support level. So even though, we did enter on a slightly early signal, overall we were still in good hands, because price action still had to break this support level. And we would have had opportunity to exit if we did enter too early. Would have been able to minimize that loss if it did turn around on us. But turned out pretty good. Good trade. Good 120 pips. 2% in the bank. So yeah, good job there on Euro CHF. Let's jump over to EJ and just cover this one. So this was also a 4 hour. We were pretty much riding the 4 hour trend on this one. So that's why we're highlighting this here as a pretty decent range. It was also a buy on EJ. This one happened on the 24th at 341. Okay, so it was a buy on EJ at 128.81. Stop loss was 128.22. Just about 60 pips we were risking. And we were looking to get about 120 as well. So this was also a 2-to-1. Final TP was at 130.13. And we also, every time, guys, 1 to 2% per trade. So let's jump over to the EJ chart and see how this one played out. All right, here we go. So overall, we were pretty bearish. Now, we did know, and we were able to see here that this was obviously a very large bearish channel, right? Price action was a little overextended here. And once we saw this bit of bullish momentum break through 128.9 and confirm this higher low, that's when we knew that this had a huge opportunity to pull all the way back to this level up to 130, as it was, clearly now in a bullish 4-hour trend. So let's go right to that entry on the 1 hour, get a closer look at that, and show you guys exactly how we found this trade. Okay, so this one, let me just grab this for a second so we can get the numbers right next to this. All right. So we entered at 341. Price action was pulling back here after this rally. We were just looking for some sort of pattern, some sort of confirmation. And that was honestly right here. Pushed up, we got the higher low, and then nice bullish variation. And we had entered on this pullback here. So it came back one more time. It already had the MA cross, so we had confidence enough to then enter on that. Okay, so this was, it did put us in a little bit of drawdown, but this was more or less a fake out. Again, there was no lower high below this level. So this whole structure here was pretty much confirmed this level as support and this higher low formation here. So after that, little bit of drawdown, came back up, good volume, maintained again at this level, and then took off and started trending on the 4 hour. So there was just a lot of confluence here pointing towards this channel filling again. And we simply rode that. Definitely was a little bit of a counter trend trade if you're considering, the daily bearish trend and so on. But, you guys know we say it all the time. The 4 hour is the best trend to trade intra-week. You'll get some great swing trades there. And, this is pretty much proof of that. This was a great swing trade just following the 4 hour trend. All right. But yeah, look at that. It came right up to our level, wicked 130. We closed our position, and then it actually broke this level. So now there's going to be an opportunity if we see another, higher low, some sort of pullback test of 130, and then we'll see, we'll take it from there. But yeah, pretty good trades, guys. So that is Euro CHF and EJ. Good trades this week, guys. But yeah, these are going to be churning pretty much every week. Rapid Signals is a good signals group right now. We're getting tons and tons of trades, and a lot of them are playing out really, really well. So thank you, guys. And this is another, Rapid Signals review.
All right, everybody. So we're going to go over next this AUD USD trade that was given out in the signals on August 31st. As you can see in here, this was the after. So the entry was at 7,333, and the final TP was at 7,4660. This thing actually ran much further than the TP, but it was about a 1 to 2 risk reward trade. So let's go ahead and hop over to the chart and actually do a breakdown as to why was this trade actually entered. So we can see as we zoom out here, we're on the daily time frame. We can bump all the way up to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we basically have this very strong monthly support level down here. And if we zoom out and even go all the way up to the monthly time frame as well and continue to zoom out, we can see that this level was drawn based on these support levels that were met at this point: resistance, support, then we have a lot of indecision, and then we have support here, and then also we had support more recently down here. And we can come to the weekly time frame and we can tell that same story about how price struggled around this area to break this as support. We're not going to go too in depth here as to what all these are. These are tested and broken areas, examples of them. But as you can see, price has definitely had some resistance and support along this area, telling us that when price revisits this area, it is most likely going to act with volatility. So Price last week came into the zone 71300 area and bounced off to the upside pretty dramatically. So as we come down to the daily time frame, we can clearly see that we are in an overall downtrend right here. So we're making these lower lows, lower highs, and then retesting the lows, breaking, making new lower highs, breaking lower, making new lower highs, breaking lower. And then ultimately now we started to move back to the upside here. So two confirmations on this were, one, the test of the liquidity zone, so the 71300 area. Definitely significant zone that we reversed off of. But as we come down to the 4-hour time frame, because this is what all of these trades are mainly based off of, we can see right here, boom, we have a break of resistance. So this is the first time that we actually broke trends for quite some time on this pair. We can see all of these swing downs, swing up, and these are all maintaining these lower lows and lower highs. Even in this area when price had all of this consolidation moving up and down, we never really broke a lower high in this area over and over and over again until this point right here. This is when we had that break and retest, and then we started to retest this zone and then ultimately head to the upside. So we can see in this area something similar. We had all of these tests of these zones. One could argue that right here was a break and then a retest, but we can clearly see that this right here, this little break, and we'll go ahead and highlight this. Comparing this to this, there's a lot more volatility coming on this move. This pair had moved 70, 80 pips to the upside. This is still struggling to get above this zone, 20 pips or so. And we also had that move down right after 40 pips. So that, to me, wouldn't be a good sign to actually start to buy this. We never, we broke this resistance zone right here, and then we never retested it and found it as support. We actually dumped lower and then found it as resistance, this previous area. So that's what it tells me. Now coming down to where we're at right here, where the entry actually is, pretty much we had the break right here. We never actually retested this resistance level, but we did have a retest of this zone pretty clean right here where we broke the resistance, came back, formed all these dojis right here, and then moved to the upside. So this is right where the trade was actually placed. If we look at the time right here at 5:23 a.m. So price we were entered in right in this area right here once we form these doji candles. That's kind of our entry signal. And the confirmations on this really were the weekly level. When we get into these weekly zones and then we see it acting with a lot of volatility, that's when we're going to try to get in on these breaks and retests. But then we could also see that we started to reverse trends to the upside. Now, why did we target, up into this zone right here? If we look left, there was multiple targets on this trade. We have our first target down here at 7367, so literally all the way down here. And we're just targeting these previous highs right here. So this would be target 1. This would then be target 2, this previous high point. Next target would be up in this area right here. And ultimately, that's right where we exited this trade. So guys, this was a trade review on AUD USD. Obviously, we were able to capture 2.3 to 1 risk reward, which is good. But there was some better trades even given this week inside of the signals. We had a 1 to 5 hit with US 30 right here. So we had a bunch of good trades this week, guys, in the chat. And we post all the before and afters for every single trade. So when people are in the trades, they know that they should be out of them, and they know that they should have hit their TPs. So in the chat, we are giving a lot of signals, about 10 signals per day, and that's so everyone has a chance to actually take advantage of this, really no matter what time of the day. You can see there's some BTC or there's some crypto trades now being given on the weekends. We are doing a sale right now, so if you come into the chat, it's $45, so it's 40% off the signals until Wednesday. So they're normally $75. It's $45, 40% off until Wednesday. So if you guys want to join, now would be the best time. And that's pretty much it for the video. So like and subscribe. And as always, we appreciate you guys so much for all the support.